How do we see these Lions, who don't have as many superstars definitively on their roster, how do they upset the 49ers?
I love that as you hear Jared Goff, because he's talking, he's just like, Amon-Ra is first-team All-Pro, Penei Sewell. We got some guys as well. And moments like this, you say, all right, they just have the regular, the ordinary players, and they don't have those stars of the Debo and the Kittle and the Christian McCaffrey and all those guys that the 49ers have. But it's like at the same time, when you look at this team, it's all about doing the small things. Those little things become big when you execute those plays. I'm looking at the 49ers against the Packers last week, specifically the Packers on offense. They were able to run the ball to the outside, pitching it to Aaron Jones. And I want you to watch the receivers on this plays. And Aaron Jones was incredible in this game. 108 yards rushing. He averaged 6 yards a carry. But it was the receivers doing the dirty work, blocking Chase Young, Nick Bosa, getting the ball on the outside. So I'm looking for this Lions team. He mentioned Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, those guys, the Josh Reynolds, Donovan Peoples-Jones. You're going to have to stick your face in there and make some of these big plays to get going, because the 49ers on defense, we talk about how good they are, but what you saw was the Packers were able to run the ball, and that's the first step of it, because once they ran the ball, we were able to see Romeo Doubs deep behind the defense, Jaden Reed, all of those guys making plays, but it started up front with Wicks and all of those guys making some of those blocks. When you look at for the Lions, how you attack this team, I think is going to start in the run game, specifically getting the ball on the outside, finding those creases, because, hey, we're watching Aaron Jones do it. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, those guys have the ability to do the same thing.
You know, when they hired Chris Spielman a couple years ago, Spielman's whole deal was, I'm going to be the liaison between the players, the coaches, and the owner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to help build the culture. And then, of course, they brought in Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, the GM, and you start building pieces. This team, as flashy as they are and as many All-Pros as they might have, and Ross St. Brown and some of the big highlights that we've shown, they are built from the inside out on offense, and they are built with one of the best offensive lines in football, and that offensive line includes Ragnow and Sewell and Decker, who are all first-round picks. They're tough as nails inside, and they are led by Sewell. And Penei, who Jared Goff mentioned, and Kyle, you mentioned it yesterday, this guy isn't just your typical offensive lineman. He looks like he's a wide receiver out there. He moves, he runs, and he chirps. Take a listen to pregame. The fine folks at NFL Films mic'd him up. And here was Penei Sewell last week against the Buccaneers.
Nice. This my first whistle to the last. From the first to the last, we come out here with a relentless intent.
Come on, Penei.
It's not just Penei. Now look, Jonah Jackson's going to be down. He's injured, so they're going to go Yodi Awasika probably with him. But you're talking about Decker, first-round pick, Ragnow, first-round pick, Penei, not only a first-round pick, their captain at wearing number 58, and Glasgow has been there forever. Like, this is their heart and soul, and I don't think they're scared of Chase Young. I don't think they're scared of Eric Armstead. I don't think they're scared of Fred Warner. I think that this team is different than some of the other upstart squads that are going into a team that's favored by a touchdown. I think this squad knows that they are as tough as any in the trenches. And the strength of San Francisco is that defensive line. Chris Kosarik and his unit, they get after you. That's how they punish teams. That defensive line gets you, they pressure you. These guys are no joke. I think they beat the 49ers if this line does what they've done all season. Not only play well, but show that bark and that fearlessness that they play every single week with.
It's great. Sewell's on fire. So many segments about should the Bengals draft him.
Jamar Chase, and the first year it was like...
It was big.
Both teams made the right pick.
Yeah.
I know. Everybody made the right pick. Look at this. I'm trying to envision the 49ers losing this game, and the four of us come here on Monday, and, like, what happened? What did the Niners... Now, the Lions are going to do their thing, but what did the Niners mess up? I can't envision Shanahan blew it or mismanaged this and this. I can't envision the Niners' defense didn't show up. McCaffrey starts fumbling, blah, blah, blah. I think if there's any entry point to the Niners' loss, it has to be Purdy. I mean, it really does. And that's the only one I can come up with. And he's been fantastic this year, but he's the only one that I don't just implicitly trust. And so I look here, look at the banner, and you got him here, just like with that perfect like Brock Purdy look, not even blinking, just totally focused. And then there's this, appropriately right next to him. Outside of Jared Goff, if I were to pick one Lion who has to have a massive game, it's Hutchinson. It's Aiden Hutchinson. You got to rattle that dude, because the Lions are not set up where they have like 2 stars, like 2 pass rushers. Like their pass rush numbers are a little low. And Hutchinson is the guy. He's 14.5. The next is not even close. Aleem McNeil, it's great. Those are good players. What I'm saying is, like, Hutchinson doesn't have a really big game. I don't think the Lions win. I really don't. We talked about it. He will probably not go against Big Trent because he's a left tackle. He comes on the right side. But if the only thing we can look at for the Niners in terms of vulnerability and bleeding was that weird 3-game losing streak. And Purdy was getting sacked a lot. And I know he was dealing with a lot of things physically at the time, but teams were hitting him. Teams were taking him down. Hutchinson needs to be the MVP of this game. Goff, of course. Aiden Hutchinson doesn't have a sack and a half, pressure, batted balls. I just don't think they can rattle the Niners offense. I don't think they have enough in their secondary and outside of Hutchinson in the pass rush. If I'm a Lions fan, I'm praying for Aiden Hutchinson. The Michigan kid story keeps continuing, keeps going because he's so important to the Niners' potential vulnerability. They may not have any vulnerabilities. They may not. But if there's any entry point, if there's the exhaust port in the Death Star, you guys know what I'm talking about, for the proton torpedoes, it has to be Hutchinson coming into the backfield, or I think the Niners are going to the Super Bowl.